Gog. Ezekiel 38:14 through 23. Therefore, son of man, prophesy and say unto Gog, thus says our Father, in that day when my people of Israel dwelleth safely, shalt thou not know it? And thou shalt come from thy place out of the northern parts, thou and many people with thee, all of them riding upon horses, a great company and a mighty army. And thou shalt come up against my people Israel as a cloud to cover the land. It shall be in the latter days, and I will bring thee against my land, that the heathen may know me, when I am sanctified in thee, O Gog, before their eyes. Thus says our Father, art thou he of whom I spoken in old times by my servants the prophets of Israel, which prophesied in those days many years that I would bring thee against them? And it shall come to pass at that same time when Gog shall come up against the land of Israel, saith our Father, that my fury shall come up in my face. I'm going to keep going. And I will call for a sword against him throughout all my mountains, says Yah. Every man's sword shall be against his brother. I'm going to keep going, but I'm skipping the massive destruction via natural disasters to all those with Gog, so the world will know he is Yah. We're going to pick it up at Ezekiel 39, 1 through 5. Quote, therefore, which is a continuation, son of man, prophesied against Gog and said, thus says Yah, behold, I am against thee, O Gog, the chief prince of Meshesh and Tubal. I will turn thee back and leave but a sixth part of thee, and will cause thee to come up from the northern parts, and I will bring thee upon the mountains of Israel. And I will smite thy bow out of thy left hand, and I will cause thine arrows to fail out of thy right hand. Thou shalt fall upon the mountains of Israel, thou and all thy bands, and the people that are with thee, which is talking about Ethiopia, Libya, and Persia. I will give thee unto the ravenous birds of every sort, and the beasts of the field to be devoured. Example. Did you notice Gog did not die like the others we have discussed thus far? He and his horse will be destroyed on the battlefield by hail, brimstone, etc., and be eaten by ravenous and carnivorous beasts. His people will turn on each other in battle, just like Yah made them do in the days of old. Did you notice God came up out of and up from the northern parts? If the north is north, then everything else has to be south, which would make coming up from the north parts oxymoron. To prove this is not just a play on words, Yah mentioned it yet again. Ezekiel 38 and 9, quote, thou shalt ascend and come like a storm. Thou shalt be like a cloud to cover the land, thou and all thy bands, and many people with thee. Example. I don't know what the word ascend means to you, but to me it means go up or climb, rise through the air. Again, how can you rise from the north by coming down? As far as God being the king of the entire locust army, the Septuagint, which is the Old Testament translated into Greek almost 300 years before the birth of the Messiah, explains the situation more clearly for us. Amos 7 in the Septuagint. Quote, thus has Yah showed me, and behold, a swarm of locusts coming from the east, and behold, one caterpillar, King Gog. Example. The King James Version says something that makes no sense whatsoever. I wonder how many other verses the Bible has translated as mumbo jumbo. When the Messiah walked the earth, the people were reading this version. The book of Daniel alludes to this trouble coming from the east. Whoever is in control of the Middle East, I'm not sure anymore. There's so many demons with skin in the game at this point. They will obviously hear of the locust army's ascension and march towards him. That's in Daniel 11:43 through 44. Quote, but he shall have power over the treasures of gold and of silver and over the precious things of Egypt and Libya and Ethiopia shall be at his steps. But tidings out of the east and out of the north shall trouble him. Therefore he shall go forth with great fury to destroy and utterly to make away many. And he shall plant his tabernacle of his palace between the seas of the glorious mountains. Yet he shall come to his end, and none shall help him. Example: the earth will be a free-for-all, round robin, and as the fans of wrestling call it, a battle royal and a monster jam of cataclysmic proportions by many different entities mankind has never envisioned before. But I sense you are still not convinced about this video. Check this out. Joel 3 and 9. Quote, proclaim ye this among the Gentiles. Prepare war. Wake up the mighty men, the giver. Let all the men of war draw near. Let them come up. Example. Again, unless the Gentiles are south of the equator, to say come up wouldn't make sense at all. To tell them to wake up their givers could only mean they were asleep to begin with. We know this verse is not just talking about the military because they are mentioned in the same verse as all men of war. Could this be the real reason behind the mysterious giant holes in the earth in that exact same region, Siberia? Now, caveat, I gotta say it real quick. To come up from the north to come down for battle could only mean you was underground and you came up and then came down to Jerusalem to fight. Again, to come up from the north to come down, you got to come up out of the ground, then come down to come fight.